and little conditions there on my Twitch, but it looks like we're right on time. So, welcome back, everyone. Today is January 21st. Super freezing cold day here in Ohio. Negative temps. I don't know if it's like that where you are, but I hope you're staying warm out there. But like I said, happy that you guys are here. And tonight's topic is one that I'm excited to talk about, specifically because it's something that I've been kind of, in that world now for the last 4 or 5 months, and that is pressing vinyl, creating a vinyl album, which is something I did. I did it for my recent project called Unknown Advantage, and I actually have it here for you guys. Let me grab it real quick. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Hard copy right here. This is my project that came out in September. It was my first instrumental album. You can see the back right here. And I chose to have the back kind of different. Usually what happens is you will kind of separate it between, side A and side B. And I had the option to redo the artwork to kind of reflect that, but I ended up choosing to not do that, just keep it the normal artwork. But I did split it between side A and side B. So 5 tracks are on side A, 5 tracks are on side B for this thing. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of what it looks like. And I ended up using, like I said, the same artwork that I used digitally. Shout out to my friend Tim, also known as Soma79. He's an artist. He helped me resize and reformat this thing to get it to look this good in the physical version. I'm going to get into my experience here in a little bit. Just wanted to show you guys this. This one is sealed. As you can see, it's got the plastic on it still, because this is one of the ones I'm selling. So I'm not going to open this one, but the vinyl itself looks very cool as well. It's an orange colored vinyl. It's got like splatter paint on it. It looks very awesome. And shout out to Disc Makers for helping me put it together. But yeah, I wanted to dive into this topic today because I know a lot of people specifically have been asking me since I posted the photos of Unknown Advantage, the vinyl. How do you do this, or how did you do this? So I wanted to kind of dive into my experience with it, but also how you guys can do this yourselves and potentially create your own vinyl for your own EP album. You can do this for singles too. Usually when you do the 12-inch, you do the full album. There's obviously like 7-inch, and there's different versions and formats. But I'm going to go through 4 different websites that you guys can use. And I'll tell you about Disc Makers, which is the one I used first. But first of all, I'll give a little bit of my experience with doing this and really where this all began for me. I've been I wouldn't call myself a collector just yet because I have my own little personal stash of vinyl. And I don't even really play the vinyl that much. I'm more of someone that just enjoys supporting artists. And the cool thing about vinyl is that, it's a way to support artists where you can actually fund, their careers. When you're streaming music, that's cool and all, but you're not actually helping them financially. You're not giving them any real monetary gain for the most part. So I always looked at it as, if you like someone's album a lot and you're just a fan of them as an artist, like definitely try to support by getting merch, or if they have a physical copy of the project, definitely go get that. And me, I love vinyl more than CDs. Obviously CDs are still around, but I don't really like CDs as much. I think vinyl, just the size of it and the way the artwork looks and the feel of it, I just love it a lot more. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. So I've been collecting vinyl for probably since like 2018, really. Just low key, some of the artists I'm a fan of. And really when I, started studying more about the producer community and the independent artist community, I noticed that a lot of artists were getting vinyls made of their own album. And I had always heard that it was kind of recommended to not do it unless you had a pretty big fan base or a pretty big following to where you could be able to sell enough units, you know what I mean? Because it costs a lot of money to make vinyl. So you want to be able to make sure that, you can sell them. And I kind of followed that a little bit, but I'm going to be honest, I still don't really have the biggest following, but I still wanted to do it. And specifically, I wanted to do it for this project because I felt like this was my first real offering. And I finally felt like this project was where I found the sound that I really want to capture as an artist, as a producer. And I'm just really proud of the project. And more importantly, I think the decision came for me to do this because, if I were to die today, let's hope that doesn't happen, or in the near future, all the music that's on streaming, I'm the one that's funding that stuff. So if I go, unless someone steps in to fund that stuff for me, all my music will probably be taken down, or the majority of my music will be taken off of streaming because no one's around to make sure that it doesn't. And I thought to myself, a way that you can ensure that doesn't completely wipe out everything you ever did is you can have some type of physical release. And that was really the big decision for me, more so than like, can I sell these? Can I make a bunch of money? Can I do this, that, and the third? It was more about that. That was really the catalyst of my decision was, what is my impact really going to be musically? Will I even have anything out there in the world 30, 40 years from now? And I honestly think, and you guys, tell me what you think in the comments of the replay of this, but I feel like when you have something like vinyl, the chances of it being around for years and years is significantly higher because it will outlast technology most likely, you know what I mean? So that was really what I wanted to do, and I wanted to kind of just test to see how it would go. So I could do something like this where I give you my experience and what I kind of went through to get to being able to create my own record. But I think just again that lasting impact thing was the big decision maker and why I felt like it was necessary to do. And I'm just kind of in the mode of why wait to do these things? Because we really don't know how much time we have. For good or for bad, if I were to wait 3 more projects to do this, I might not have the chance to do it. And I have albums lined up, but, I figured why not now? Why wait to take action on this when I could do it today? And that's really what I did. I started diving in, researching. So my next step was to research, find websites, which, again, we're going to dive into these here in a bit. And the first one, the main one that I came across, was a site called Diggers Factory, and they're based in France. And they actually are the ones I partnered with first to try and create this vinyl. And overall, the process initially was really good. So this was last summer when I got the ball rolling on all this. If you were following the release of this project, Unknown Advantage, you know that I released it on a platform called Even, which we talked about a few months ago, where I pretty much put it out in advance and people could pay for it to hear it before anybody else did. And the vinyl was part of this. So basically what I wanted was to have the vinyl be a part of like a pre-order system where people could pre-order in advance and then have it sent to them months later when it arrived. And what I liked about Diggers Factory is that they allowed the user, first of all, the creator, to set up a pre-order page. And you could make the pre-order page look really cool. You could set all your design templates in there, make it look super awesome. And I loved that part of the whole process. I thought that was super cool. So you were able to collect your pre-orders for like 2 months. So they gave you like 2 months to kind of push it and get the pre-orders. And I got a few pre-orders. And again, this was for a limited run of 100 vinyl records. So basically, what happens with them is if you don't get all 100 pre-orders, you have to fund the rest, which means you have to pay for the rest of the vinyls to be shipped directly to you, and then you can sell them on your own. If you're able to fulfill all the pre-orders, though, they will ship everything themselves and distribute your pay and all that stuff, which is nice. And that was the real selling point for me. I knew I wasn't going to be able to fulfill all the pre-orders. I knew I would probably get like a quarter of the way, and that was probably going to be it. I ended up getting, I don't even know if I got a quarter. I might have got like 10 total. So I was prepared. I was prepared financially. I had money set aside to get that thing going and get everything shipped to me. So I pretty much knew. I didn't know the exact number, but I set aside probably $3,000 total, just in case, just to, for whatever happens. Here's where the issues came in. This was probably in August of last year when the pre-order concluded, and I knew I was going to have to get the rest of the costs going. I was pretty much just ready to roll, and I thought that every design aspect that I already put in was good to go. But the problem is the designs you submit for your pre-order page are not the designs for the final version, and that's where things went kind of off the tracks a little bit, because they hit me up and said, hey, we're going to send you these templates now, and we need you to resize everything and reformat everything. Admittedly, I probably should have done more research into this, because I did not know how hard of a process it actually is. And I am not someone that has a lot of experience with physical media. I can make artwork, but making artwork for a digital release and for a physical release are two completely different things. So I want to preface that right off the top. And this is where my friend Tim really helped me out. Long story short, I'm not going to give you everything that happened, but essentially, Digger's Factory, every time I would make a change to the design, they needed something added in a little bit more, or they needed something adjusted just a little bit more, or if I did one thing or make this change, then they need you to do the opposite. And it went back and forth like that for a while. And like I said, my friend Tim, his artist name is Soma79. We've collaborated. I've been on his podcast. He's been on mine. Check him out. He helped me out because he has done a lot of artwork for physical releases, mostly CDs, but he knew exactly the terminology. He knew how to help me, and I really appreciated him for doing that. And I actually sent him a copy of this album to thank him for all of his help, because without him, I'm going to be honest, I would have been totally lost. So if I had to give any advice, just really quickly on that, definitely get somebody who understands how to format your digital artwork for a physical release, because you have to upgrade the resolution scale. You have to make sure it's good for 12-inch or 7-inch, whatever, because you'll get a loss of resolution as it gets bigger. Basically, you have to export the image upscaled as a PDF for print specifically. There's a bunch of other things involved. I'm not going to get into everything like DPI and color grading and all that stuff. It's a lot. But if you understand design and you understand those sorts of things, maybe you won't have as much trouble as I did. But I had a lot of issues, and it set the whole thing back a couple months. But basically, with Digger's Factory specifically, I ended up severing ties with them because they really weren't communicating with me very well at all during the whole process. Like, they would send me an email, say, you need to revise this. And then when I revised it, it would be like 2 to 3 days of waiting They wouldn't really respond to my questions or help me out in any way. And we were just kind of shooting in the dark. Like when I brought Tim on board, like I felt like I was shooting in the dark, but then even when I had Tim on board, we were still both kind of shooting in the dark. And it just got to the point where it's like we're not making any progress here. And I honestly contribute a big reasoning for that happening to the fact that they are a French-based company. And essentially how it felt to me was if you're not in France, if you're not on their time, you're not going to have a great experience because they only respond during French time. So if you're in the US, they're going to respond to you at like 2 a.m, and then you're going to see that email the next day. You're going to send a response, and then you're not going to hear from them for another 2 to 3 days sometimes. So it was just like, this isn't helping. I need answers in real time. And the other reason was the pricing, because I figured out, once everything was factored in, and because they were based in France, I was going to have to pay international shipping. It went to almost my entire max budget of $3,000. I think it was probably like 2,600 something total with the shipping to get all the rest of the pre-order, or all the rest of the 100 pre-orders, which I think was like 90 something in total that I would need to buy. It was going to be almost $3,000, and it just didn't make sense. So I started doing research. I didn't pull the plug immediately, but I started doing research on other places that do limited runs, and I narrowed it down to a couple. There was one based in Texas. I forget what they were called. I think they were called hand-drawn pressings, but they looked really cool, really promising, but they were also very expensive. And then Disc Makers was the other one, which was super affordable and is the one I ended up going with. So in total, I ended up saving, I think, about $1,000 going with Disc Makers, and still got amazing quality through going with them. But basically, I don't want to make this like me just shitting on Digger's Factory, because they are still really cool and I love their products, and I know people that have worked with them and had great experiences. Mad Keys, actually, who I had on my podcast, great producer. Go check him out. He did his 7-inch with Digger's Factory and it looked incredible, and he never said a word about having any issues with them. I don't know if he did, but from what I can tell, everything came out great. And a lot of people use them. They do soundtracks for movies. They do different vinyl for artists. They're definitely reputable, and that's why I put them on this list, because they are reputable and they make quality stuff. Just for me, it didn't work out. And again, that could be me not knowing design very well and just being bad with the terminology and inexperienced. And maybe my inexperience was a big reason why I didn't have a good experience. You know what I mean? So take everything I just said with a grain of salt, but just know that that is my experience. That's what I went through. You might have a different experience, and hopefully you have a better one than I did. Maybe if you're based in France, it would be more ideal, because you wouldn't have to pay international shipping and you'd be on their time zone. So, if I wished anything for that company, I wish that they would have some US based offices, or someone that you could talk to, in a timely manner. And I felt like it could have gotten done. But again, it just didn't work out, and ended up going with Disc Makers, and the process for Disc Makers was just so much more easy. I felt like they, I didn't have a ton of questions because they made it pretty self-explanatory, and like I said, I already had my templates ready to go, so I kind of just plugged in and went from there. And I ended up getting a design for the vinyl that I think looks cooler than the original one I had. And I kind of went with the most simple stuff. I didn't have a spine. Let me show you guys again real quick. So there's no spine on this thing right in here. I could have done a design here, but again, I was just ready to get this thing, off the freaking, off the ideas table and into the world. So I was like, we're going to scrap the spine idea. You could add spines if you want, I just didn't do that. Like I said, I did the normal back cover. They suggested changing it just to, make people know, like, hey, this is side A, side B. But we ended up putting a graphic on the actual vinyl itself that prefaces, like, side A, side B. And then I just, again, it's the normal cover from the digital, just enhanced to fit this. But this is like the most basic vinyl you can do. It is the gloss texture. I wanted the gloss. You could do a matte texture too if you wanted to. But I went for the cheapest option. And like I said, with shipping, it was about $1,500 total for all 100. And there was no pre-orders. There was none of that. The way they work is they just ship it directly to you. And you can do with them whatever you feel. Yeah, so that's my experience. And shameless plug, those vinyls right there, the Unknown Advantage vinyls, are on sale on my Bandcamp right now. We already sold like 3 or 4 of them. There's still a lot more left. So if you want to get one of those, you want to support, that'll be in the link in the description of the YouTube replay. So shameless plug right there. But now we're going to move on to kind of showing you guys, well, not showing you, but me telling you, and then you'll be able to check it out in the replay, about these 4 that I picked. 2 of them I already mentioned. The other 2 I actually don't have experience with. And these are just 4 of them. Again, these are not all of them. There's so many now that you can get vinyl from. What I wanted to do was highlight the ones specifically that do the limited runs. And this is a big thing, and I think I'll mention this before anything else. You really probably should just do limited runs, which would be like 100. And I don't think anybody goes lower than 100. I have yet to find any company that gives you less than 100 vinyls. Maybe it exists, I don't know. But I can't find any company out there currently that does it. So every one I'm mentioning is going to be 100 or more. 100, like I said, 100 cost me $1,500 still. It's an investment. It's expensive no matter what. But I would go with 100 because you can make 100 stretch pretty far. And I'm honestly thinking I'll make mine stretch like 2 to 3 years before they're all gone. I'm trying to get mine out to some record stores here and there, and I've already done a giveaway with one of them, and I'll come up with all kinds of ways to make that stretch for a while. But I would like to preface that you should probably do the limited run because it is the most cost effective. If you want to do a 2,000 or 5,000, I mean, go ahead. But you just be aware you should have a lot of money set aside for it. That's just all I would tell you. So the first one we're going to touch on is Disc Makers, which is the one that made that vinyl you just saw. Shout out to Disc Makers, like I said. Very, very cool people over there. The communication was great. I believe they're based in Tennessee. I could be wrong on that. But they offer all kinds of different pressings. You can do CDs. You can do DVDs and Blu-ray with Disc Makers. They do all kinds of stuff. But if we're looking at vinyl, let me check this out real quick. I want to see if I can get you guys like some rough quotes on some of this stuff for some of these websites. I don't know if I can get all of them. Like I said, it kind of just depends. But you can get the 12-inch. It says 100 vinyl records for $1,000, which, yeah, that's pretty accurate. And like I said, I got the most basic materials. The only upgraded material that I got was having the colored vinyl, which was a little bit more than the black vinyl, obviously, and the gloss texture. That's it. Everything else I did. The sleeve is the most basic sleeve you can get. Just standard 140 gram black vinyl pressing optional, random colors available. Euro jacket printing with medium gloss. Finish, full color LP vinyls. Plain white inner sleeve, which mine also has the white inner sleeve. I definitely would recommend getting the inner sleeve because it protects the vinyl even more. That's pretty much a thing you should do. And the plastic wrap too was a little bit extra. That wasn't that much extra though. I would always do that because, again, the more protection, the better. Because you're going to be either shipping these off or selling these to people. You want them to be protected. Yeah, insertion and shrink wrap. So, again, I went with some of the little more basic materials, but nothing too crazy. They have the standard 12-inch records in jackets with spines. So, those are the ones that, like I said, they'd have a spine to them. Mine doesn't have that. You can do it like a design on it. Like I had one made, but we just ended up scrapping it because we kind of ran out of time, and I kind of just wanted to get it over with, to be honest. Deluxe 12-inch records and jackets. I believe the materials of those are a little bit different, and then they have the gatefolds, which I think is really cool. Again, if I had my design stuff together, I might have even done a gatefold, although they do cost more. Let me see if they have the pricing for that. I don't think they have the pricing on here for that. I would assume that's going to cost you over $2,000 for sure, because the gatefold is the ones that open up kind of like a book, and you have a design. You have your two basic designs. Then on the inside, you'd have two other designs. So if you have a lot of artwork for your project, gatefold would be cool, or a double LP. Gatefolds kind of work for that too. Again, you guys can just click the link in the YouTube description because you'll be able to see all the images, go through all the pricing. And they have the 7-inch vinyls with standard jacket and the gatefold 7 inches as well. And then you can do the 45s, which some people do 45 still, just a different format. So yeah, they pretty much have all of your vinyl needs on Disc Makers, which again, I really enjoyed. And they did such a good job with this. I'm definitely gonna probably go with them moving forward if I do another vinyl, which is still up in the air. I'm definitely not doing anyone anytime soon, or another one anytime soon. But it was a great experience. Like, let's just say that they shipped it when they were supposed to. They did a great job with the materials, and everything went well. So no complaints there. I would say they're my most recommended one to go with, especially because they are more affordable. You're not going to break the bank, and if you're based in the U.S., they are also based in the U.S., so you'll get that shipping cost down, which is very nice. Next, we will talk about Diggers Factory, which again, I know it sounded like all slander. Swear that's not what I was trying to do. I was just giving you guys my experience. I would definitely check out Diggers Factory if you are located overseas, if you're in France, if you're in Europe. Definitely go check them out. Because I feel like you might even have a better experience than I did. Let me see if I can find their pricing. See, I don't think they really have the pricing set up, because the biggest thing with these guys is that you're creating the pre-order page, and your whole idea is to collect the pre-orders, within a 2-3 month span, and then they take care of everything else, which I think is very convenient because there is no other site that really does that, and that was really like the thing that caught me was that. But just be aware that your designs for the pre-order page are completely different than your designs for the actual vinyl, and they'll basically get on you and be like, yo, you got to get these real designs to us. But here are the quantities. So again, you can do the 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3 or 5,000. So they give you a wide variety of options to say, like you can do whatever you want with this. So the estimated cost of the 100 copy run is $444, but that's with the most basic materials, before adding artwork, any of that stuff. Like I said, it just keeps going up, and then your international shipping is really what does it. That's really what throws the price overboard for me. So just keep that in mind. Again, they offer 12-inch, 10-inch, 7-inch. You can do 1, 2, 3, or 4 LPs per vinyl, which is cool. And I love the selection of vinyl colors that they have. They have incredibly beautiful designs over on Diggers Factory. So you can do the black. They have normal colors, splatter, cloudy, A side, B side. The marble ones look really cool. Half and halves. Like you can get one color on one half, another on the other side, and picture disc as well. A lot of cool designs. So if you're looking to do like a cool colored vinyl and you want something very specific, I'd say these guys are some of the best out there for doing stuff like that. And then your insert for your sleeve, you can have a colored one. You could do the double gatefold, the triple gatefold, or PVC. So just choosing your materials. And then same with disc makers, you can do either gloss or matte finish, or cardboard, which is super cheap. You could do that if you want to save money, but if you're looking for a presentation, probably go with the other two, or one of the other two. And then you can do all kinds of stuff like adding stickers. You obviously have to have a barcode on there, which is another thing I'll mention too. Disc makers also did this for me. You have to actually buy a barcode in order to have your vinyls printed. That way, if you sell them in a record store, they have the UPC ready to go, so that way they can actually sell them as a product. Just keep that in mind as well. You'll have to get a barcode, but most of these places supply barcodes. But that is pretty much it for Diggers Factory. Like I said, check them out. Just because I had a bad experience doesn't mean you will. And like I said, I think if you end up working with them, you're going to get a good product. Just know that. So next up is called Atomic Disc, which I have never heard of, but it said that they were one of the best for 100 quantity runs, the limited runs of vinyls. It says right here you can order the express package, which is 100 vinyls for $1,279. That's before shipping, so it'll probably come out to somewhere around the disc maker's range, which is like $1,500. You get 100 to, so you can either do 100, anywhere between 100 and 250. I don't know if you can choose the exact amount between there, but that's what that sounds like to me. Black or random color vinyl, direct metal mastering, which is nice. Most of these companies will master your music specifically for vinyl. So all you have to do is submit the waves for each song, and they will do mastering for vinyl, which disc makers did for mine too. And that's great. It's very convenient. The full color jacket and labels, unprinted white or black inner sleeves. You can have optional insert. It says they don't send test pressings for that one, but that's optional. I didn't even do test pressings for mine. Test pressings is basically they send you just the disc itself, like a blank disc, or not a blank disc, but like just a black disc with the songs already on it, so you can test the audio of the music and the quality to make sure it's good. So that's optional, and then they have other versions of that. That's the only one you can get 100 from the looks of it, but that's your 100 option. The other ones that are standard 12-inch, the 12-inch doubles, and the 7-inch records, that is all 250 to 1,000 records that you're going to get, which is obviously more money. So for the other 12-inch, that is starting at $1,598. And for the double albums, it's starting at $2,653. And then your 12 inches, which is $1,095. Again, that is the bare minimum price. That's before you get into adding in your details, your specifications, all that sort of thing. So keep that in mind. But again, I heard that these guys are pretty good. I don't have any experience with them. I had never heard of them. But check them out. Trying to see wonder where they're based at. Let's see. I think they're a US based company. I'm not sure where 503 area code is. I'm sure on here you can find it out. I think they're US based though. And actually, at the time of this recording, they're having a sale. It says 100 C. Oh, that's CDs. I was gonna say, that'd be helpful if it was vinyl. It's CDs though. They're having a sale on CDs. If you're looking to do CDs, check out that sale. That's Atomic Disc. And then the final one today is Solid Merch, which I think is kind of like Bandzoogle. If you've heard of Bandzoogle, you basically can make like a merch store on their site or through their site, kind of like Bandcamp, but a little different. Solid Merch, it says the vinyl record pressing company for musicians, vinyl record pressing, colored vinyl, and packaging made easy and affordable. And here are their packages. Oh, so it looks like they. Oh no, they do. Okay, I was making sure. I was trying to make sure because I thought all these were 100. Yeah, so the gig packages is where you're going to get your 100 pressings. It says preset packages at 100 or 250 units for easy ordering. The package includes black or eco mix 12-inch vinyls records, master cutting and plating, full color printed labels, and outer sleeve, white or black inner sleeve, heavy 180 gram weight available. So that is the only one that you can get the 100. So again, it's cheap, and it says it starts at $5.50 for a unit. That's for the 250 though. It doesn't have the pricing for the 100. It would be a little cheaper, but again, those prices add up. Their pricing is a little different. That's per unit. Do the math on that. They have a lot of other packages, tour packages, print only, 12-inch double albums, 7-inch records, and flexi discs. So, like the other ones, they have a good amount of options available. Again, I can't vouch for Solid Merch. It's just another one I've heard of that people have used before, and they are reputable. So, check them out. They're another option. And that is it. Those are the options I had today for you guys. Like I said, I could keep going forever, but I knew that I was going to be telling a lot of my experience, what I did. But I just thought this was super cool to touch on. I think it's a cool thing, and I'm happy that I was able to do a vinyl record pressing of my own album. And I think it's like one of those bucket list things to say I did it. If I never do it again, at least I did it once. So, if you guys are looking to do it, hopefully you can. 20% battery, that's nice. We can make it. We're almost at the end. If you guys are looking to do this, hopefully this will help you out. So definitely check these out. Like I said, they'll be in the link in the description of the YouTube replay. But thank you guys for tuning in. This was really awesome. And another reminder, I'll hold it up again. This right here, the Unknown Advantage vinyl, is on sale. So if you're looking to support this, Anthony Church Bandcamp, anthonychurch.bandcamp.com. And it's under Unknown Advantage. It's under the project itself. But I'll leave the link in the description of the YouTube replay. There's 100 of these. Currently, there's like 94 of them left, or 90-something of them left. But if you want one, check them out. They're only $30. Yeah, shameless plug again. But other than that, I hope this helped you guys. And if you're looking to have your own vinyl created very soon, definitely check out one of those sites, or just keep doing your own research to figure out which site works best for you. But until next week, I hope you guys stay safe, stay warm. We're going to be back next week on the 28th. We're going to be talking about sequencing your albums, sequencing your projects, coming up with a good way to put your tracks in a good order and really make a full experience with your projects, which is going to be cool. But until then, like I said, stay warm, stay safe, and have a great week. We'll see you next time before my phone dies. Peace out, guys.